Hello, everyone, and welcome to day number 18, where we are talking about the call for what?
The sanctification of the family.
This happens on the last apparition. This is the big bang, right? The sun's moving, crazy things are happening. And Sister Lucia says there's 3 apparitions within this last apparition. So the next 3 days, we're going to be talking about these 3 apparitions. Today is the apparition of the Holy Family, which is Jesus, Joseph, and Mary. But Jesus is the baby Jesus, the child Jesus, and he's blessing the crowd. So she says, this message of Fatima is also about the sanctification of the family.
Sister Lucia writes, parents are the ones who must guide their children's first step to the altar of God, teaching them to raise their innocent hands and to pray, helping them discover how to find God on their way and to follow the echo of his voice. This is the most serious and important mission that has been entrusted by God to parents, and they must fulfill it so well that through their lives, the memory of their parents will always arouse in their children the memory of God and of his teachings.
So here's a big question I ask myself. Will my children's memory of me help them or hinder them in their adult faith? I just had a difficult conversation yesterday with a friend. His mom passed away and he was grieving. But the way he talked about his mom, it was beautiful because he always referred to her faith. And that's how he saw his mom. That's it. That's part of this message here. As we're raising our children, they must be formed in the faith, or else we have neglected our duty.
That's right. Don't want to miss that one. Yeah. It's true. Like, it's serious.
It
and we
is.
can't just assume that someone else is going to do that teaching for us.
Sister Lucia writes, parents who do not instill a knowledge of God and of his commandments into their children from an early age are failing to fulfill the mission entrusted to them by God. They are answerable to God for it. Parents who disregard this law of God are themselves responsible for the ignorance of their children. Very often, it is this ignorance that is responsible for the disordered lives of the children who torment the declining years of their parents and are themselves lost.
For me, at our state of life, I think that's something I need to know. The reality is, though, there might be some people watching today who are past their child raising age and now their children are off and they're not faithful. But if that's our position, I don't think we should look back and beat ourselves up. I wish I would have done this and this and this and this. What we just have to do is seek the Lord now. If we've made mistakes, ask God's mercy and forgiveness for not being the parent that we should have been. Because guess what? This is not a shaming. I'm not the parent I should always be. Janelle can tell you that. So I'm always, when I go to confession, one of the main things, I'm going to tell you everything, but one of the main things that I bring consistently, and it's like my failure as a father in certain areas. So I need God's mercy. Because I want to get better and I want to lead my children to heaven. So if we've made mistakes as parents, we just go to God's mercy. His mercy is bigger than our sin.
And then we can make reparation too.
We make reparation. We fast. We do penance.
So it's never too late.
But if we find ourselves with children under our roof right now, boy, what a responsibility that we have.
That's right.
To get our children to heaven. Like, I think about all the ways sometimes families get distracted with extracurricular activities and running here and there and all this entertainment.
Yeah. And devices.
But we neglect children's souls. What a tragedy. What a mistake. I was speaking with someone regarding this series, and they made the comment, something to do with when the sanctification of the family happens, it fixes all the problems in society. And I'm like, pretty much that's a good summation of what God's plan is for the world. A holy family leads to a holy society. And think about what happens when the family breaks down, how much hurt that causes.
Right. It's so sad. So sad.
And when a family is functioning well, it's because there's virtue in the family. There's love in the family. So here's some statistics I'd like to share with you regarding a well-functioning family versus one where maybe the father is missing.
A well-fathered daughter is less likely to get pregnant as a teen, less likely to flaunt themselves to seek male attention, less likely to become sexually active in her early teens, less likely to be talked into having sex during college years, less likely to become clinically depressed, less likely to develop eating disorders, less dissatisfied with their appearance, less dissatisfied with their body weight. Who comes from fatherless homes? 90% of homeless and runaway children, 85% of children who show behavior disorders, 63% of youth suicides, 71% of high school dropouts, 85% of youth in prison.
So as you can see, these statistics are really emphasizing God's order. When we do marriage the way God intends, blessing flows. When we do marriage the way God doesn't purpose, things break, people break, things fall apart. As John Paul II said, as the family goes, so goes society. And we are seeing this unfold before our eyes now. The breakdown of the family leads down to a breakdown of society. So we gotta fight for our family and fight for the holiness of our family. You had some...
Yeah, I just didn't want anyone to feel like if there's some parents out there that are single parenting right now and you're just like, well, my children don't have a father in the picture, or my children don't have a mother in the picture. Like, I could see how that would be a huge burden. I don't want anyone to feel like, well, they're destined for failure. You know, I don't think that is the truth. I think one thing that is truthful is that God is father to all, right? And we can't forget that.
And Mary can be mother to all. And some family situations might require a bigger fight. And that's the way life might be.
Yeah.
But we are not alone. We're not abandoned.
That's right. And even like grandparents and aunts and uncles can play such a beautiful role in the raising of children in the faith. Godparents. I've seen it. It's beautiful.
Let's relate this back to Mary. Janelle, what do you love about Christmas?
Ooh, I love so many things, especially nativity scenes.
We have many. Every single one of those nativity scenes that we have distributed around the house in different places have something in common. Jesus, Mary, Joseph. You got the donkeys, the shepherds, but where is Jesus in the scene? He's always the center. When Jesus is the center, things find their order. When Jesus is removed, things fall apart. And you see this also in this apparition, where Jesus is the center. Joseph is holding baby Jesus. Mary and Joseph are around him. Jesus is the center. He makes us holy. He sanctifies the family. This is where Mary wants to place Jesus in our families, at the center. So we have to fight for that, and we got to pray for that. So pray with us, please. Our Lady of Fatima,
Pray
pray
for
for us.